Morning, everybody. This is Deanna with Food Bank Beautiful, and it is Thursday, and I believe it is the 19th. Don't quote me. Apparently, I am having struggles with the numerical days of the week. All right, I have been very, very busy this morning. I was up at 4:30. I drank coffee. I watched the sky turn light. I've taken care of my chickens. I've taken care of Grandma. I've harvested potatoes. So I do have a little bit of farmer hands. Do not be alarmed. I have cleaned my kitchen this morning. I left my dishes last night, but I did clean them up this morning. My husband and I went to the dump. And then we went out for coffee and had a little date, and it was really quite lovely, everybody. Now, there are some things I want to do for fun. All right? So the first thing that I want to do is I want to make 3 recipes out of my new book, the all-new Ball Book of Canning and Preserving. 350 recipes. Right? Yeah, we're not making 350 recipes. I want to make 3. And I'm not sure that I will do them one after the other, or I'll do them one day, one the next, one the other. And I'm not even sure how I'm going to post them. If I'm going to post all 3 together or if I'm going to post them individually. So the first recipe that I'm going to make is on page 90. And it's called Pomegranate Cherry Jelly. And it is definitely a small batch. It makes 6 half pints of jelly. And the ingredients are 3.5 cups of bottled pomegranate cherry juice. So I have these. I have 2 of them. I'm not sure if this is 2 cups or 3 cups, but I have 2 of them. And then it's going to call for 6 tablespoons of Sure Gel. I have that. It's going to ask for 1 tablespoon of orange zest and then 5 cups of sugar. So we're going to do this one first because this one does not require a lot of work. But there is one that does require a lot of work. And I'm constantly losing my marker for that one. So hold on a second. I have these and it slips down between my pages and then I still can't find what I'm looking for. Here we go. So this recipe is for something called Spicy Pineapple and Tart Cherry Preserves. And this one is on page 109, and it says it makes 4 half pints. So this one's even smaller than the other one. Let me read you the ingredients on that. 1 2-pound fresh pineapple peeled and cored. I have that. Right there. 3 3/4 cups of sugar. I have sugar. 1/2 teaspoon ground red pepper. Now, I don't think that I have ground red pepper. I might have cayenne pepper, which I'm willing to use, or I'll resort to a pinch of red chili flakes. That should not affect anything in this recipe. It also calls for 1.5 pounds of fresh tart red cherries, pitted and halved, about 5 cups. Now I am going to modify that a little bit to what I have. So I am deviating from this recipe. Okay, my kitchen. What do I feel safe doing? You guys make your own judgments. I will be using frozen cherries that I got from Walmart, and they are actually sweet cherries. And I think that that will be fine. It also calls for 2 tablespoons of bottled lemon juice. Now this one requires me to get my pineapple ready to go, put half the sugar in it and the pepper, and let that sit for 2 hours. So as soon as I get this one the first one done, the pomegranate cherry jelly, I'm going to go ahead and prep this one, and then I'll probably have to finish it this afternoon. Well, if I start it, I'll have to finish it this afternoon. Now, anything can happen, right? I can decide I'm too tired to make the second one and not even start it today. So we'll see. The third one I want to make is on page 35, and it's called Chocolate Cherry Jam. And this one calls for 6 cups of fresh or frozen pitted dark sweet cherries, coarsely chopped, 6 tablespoons of pectin, 1/4 cup of bottled lemon juice, 6 cups of sugar, and 2/3 cup of unsweetened cocoa. And that also makes a very small batch, about 3 pints. So let's go ahead and focus on our pomegranate and cherry jelly. The first thing it's going to ask me to do is whisk together the first 3 ingredients in a 6-quart stainless steel or enameled Dutch oven. Bring to a full rolling boil that cannot be stirred down over high heat, stirring constantly. Then you're going to add your sugar, and you're going to bring it back to a rolling boil for 1 hard minute, stirring constantly. Remove from heat, skim foam if necessary. And then you're just going to follow your basic canning, which is ladle into hot jars and process for 10 minutes in a hot water bath. So, right behind me, I have my jars. They're washed and sterilized, and they are just going to sit in boiling water until I can get to. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use my 1/2 measuring cup, and we're going to measure out 5 cups of sugar. So let me bring you down right there, and you guys count with me. We're going to need 10. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. There we go. So that is done right there. Now I'm going to go ahead and grate 1 tablespoon of orange peel. All right, now to the pot below me, I added 3½ cups of pomegranate cherry juice. And I'm actually going to taste it and see what this tastes like, as this is going to be the base of our jelly. That is really good. All right, now we're going to do 6 tablespoons of pectin. I think there's 3 tablespoons. Well, I don't know. We'll see. Per package. 1, 2, we'll call that 3. We left off at 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, we've got that taken care of. Now, I'm going to whisk this together, and then I'm going to put it on the stove and bring it to a boil. Okay. All right. I can whisk that for you right here. Can I? Where's my whisk? Oh, it's right here. looking at me. You want to look down here? There we go. Okay, over to the stove it goes. Maybe I'll edit those lapses out. Maybe I won't. Okay, so that is taken care of. So we're going to bring it to a boil. Then we're going to add the sugar, bring it back to a boil, and boil hard for 1 minute. There's nothing hard about that, people. That seems pretty self-explanatory. I keep walking away. All right, I keep walking away from the camera and leaving great big long periods of not talking and you guys not seeing what I'm doing. So let me just recap. I did exactly what the directions required me to do. I added the pomegranate juice, 3½ cups, 6 tablespoons of pectin, which I measured out, 1 tablespoon of orange zest, which I grated from my lemon, but I also added some of my dehydrated because I didn't have enough to make 3 tablespoons. So that is now on the stove right there, and it needs to come to a boil. So while I'm waiting for that, I think I'm going to go ahead and process this pineapple because it's got to sit for a couple hours. Okay, I am dealing with the pineapple right now, and you can kind of see all 3 stages. Right here, I have chopped the pineapple. Right here, I have run it through and kind of got it finely chopped or pureed. I'm going to take a spoon and I'm going to get out the dark pieces, and then we will see what we've got. So I need, it says 4 cups. So I have 3. I need 5 more cups of puree, and then we should be fine. I also am sticking my pineapple rind pieces in a baggie, and tomorrow when I juice, I will run those through my juicer so that I'm not wasting anything. Plus, I love to do the pineapple core through the juicer. Okay, I'll be back when I have 4 cups ready to go. Okay, now for the spicy pineapple and tart cherries, I have finely chopped my pineapple, and the recipe says add half the sugar for the recipe, which I'm going to do 2 cups, and pour that over the pineapple. So 1, 2, and then it says to layer the cherries, and this should be approximately 1½ bags. And I'm just using this, you guys. So here's 1. And here is the other half. And we're not going to worry too much because I'm going to use these cherries in another jam recipe. So there's about half. And then we're going to add the 2nd cup of sugar. 1 and 2. Now for the next 2 hours, this will just sit on top of my counter with a tea towel over it. And I will stir it occasionally. I think that's what it says. Sprinkle with the lemon juice. All right, okay, so basically for the spicy pineapple and tart cherries, you add and layer your pineapple, your cherries, your sugar, your pineapple, your cherries, your sugar, and your 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. There's 1 and there's 2. And then you leave it to sit for 2 hours, and then you come back to it and you process it. So I'm going to set this aside now because my other jelly is ready to jar. Okay, I have boiled my pomegranate juice and sugar mixture for a minute. Coughing. And I am getting ready to can it. But as I look at it, it has chunks of the orange peel floating in it, and I don't love that. So you can see, like right here, it's got that orange peel in it, and I'm not loving that. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can't put this in my strainer. What is this? Oh, I think that's foam. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and run this through my cheesecloth and see if I can't clean that up a little bit. And then I'll jar it. And I'll kind of let you see what I'm doing down here. It is definitely time consuming, but it's the finished product I want to be lovely. I'm glad I put a towel down over my counter because this is messy. Okay, let me do this and I'll come back to you. Okay, I finished straining it and I'm really glad I did. I want my jelly to not have any chunks of any kind in it. Now, I did make a mess, all right? So let's come down and take a look at my mess. So I'm going to go ahead and get this jarred. How hot is this? Pretty hot. I'll bring you down. At least long enough to fill these. Can I hold that? No. All right, so we're doing a pint. And then we're going to do the little half pints. Actually, these are quarter pints. I'm out of half pint jars. Ooh, that one looks full. I think I might have enough to do one more. Yep. Okay. Now, this was very, very messy, but I had a sneak taste and I'm going to taste it for you guys and we'll see if together, if it was worth it. Now, my face won't give anything away. Will it? All right, but before we do that, I'm going to take care of these jars. I'm going to go ahead, wipe the rims, put the lids on and the bands on, and get them in the water bath. Now, because this was so messy, I'm not going to bring you along for that. Once they're in the water bath, we'll go back and taste the jelly, okay? All right. You can see that I have everything. I have my vinegar. I have my little things. We're going to get these jars all nice and pretty and in the water bath. So let me turn that back on. All right, it is in the water bath. The water bath needs to come up to a boil and then it's going to boil for 10 minutes. Here is some of the pomegranate jelly, and I'm going to taste it for you. Here we go. Mmm. Mmm. Out of this world. This stuff is so good. And I'm eating the part from the pan before I strained it. Mmm. Mmm. I will make that every time I have my hands on pomegranate juice, which is not very often. It's not something that I put in my grocery cart, but I was very excited about this book and I did it this time and I love it. Oh my God, it's so good. I'm gonna go take my husband and his friend a little spoon, and my husband's gonna want to marry me all over again, and his friend, he's gonna want me to be wife number 2. Just letting you know. All right, I'll be back. Okay. So I went outside and I gave my husband a taste, and he nearly lost his mind. And of course, before I gave him a taste, I said, this jelly is so good that you're going to want to marry me again. He said, baby, I'll marry you again. And Ghanem liked it as well. So that is, I'm still waiting for my bath to come to a rolling boil. I am cleaning up my mess, and I have decided that we are going to make all 3 jams today. So let's check on our pineapple mixture. I have some thoughts about that too. So now, in regards to this pomegranate jelly, where it calls for fresh lime or orange zest, I'm wondering if a tablespoon or a teaspoon of orange liqueur would be delicious in that. Now, I don't know if that will affect the safety. I don't think so. I do see jams and stuff canned with alcohol, and in small quantities it doesn't seem to be any different than anything else. So let me adjust this camera. There we go. So I don't know. I'm gonna mark that in my book that that was stinking delicious. It's so good. Now, I probably stained a towel. This probably won't be the first one that I stained today. I'm gonna clean up my mess. Oh, well, let's check our jam number 2. So jam number 2, let me bring you down here, looks like this. And this one is the spicy pineapple and tart cherry preserves. Although I do not have tart cherries, these are sweet cherries with some chili flakes. So I did have to modify a little bit. Unfortunately, I didn't read the part of the recipe that says cut your cherries in half. Because why would I read anything ahead of time? So I've just been kind of taking the scissors and going through, and these are scissors that I washed, and I'm just kind of cutting those cherries as I see them on top of the mixture. Now on this one, I do want some texture. I do want cherry pieces. So let's do that. And I'll just keep checking this periodically. And on this one, I honestly do not know why it can't just all go in the saucepan, turn the heat on, the sugar dissolves, the fruit is there. So next time I'm not going to foo-foo around with this. Okay? Girl doesn't foo-foo. I don't see why it has to be done this way. Layer this, layer that, sit it on your counter, talk smack or talk mush mush to it, depending on, you know, your mood. Run around the campfire 10 times naked and say your prayers. I'm not going to do it. Okay? Now, we're going to see how this one tastes when we're done. And I think it is going to be lovely. So anyway, I'm looking at it. All right, so there it is, you guys. That looks really good. I don't know the heat on my chili flakes. I don't know if I'll be able to tell before I cook it what that's going to be like. But I honestly don't see any reason why this has to sit for 2 hours. Let me get a clean spoon. Let me get a clean spoon and we'll do a pre-test. Now, it's going to taste gritty because the sugar hasn't dissolved completely, but let's just see if I can taste any heat. I do not taste any heat at all, and I want this one spicy. So I don't want to scare you guys, but girl is going to add some more. About that much. Wow. That is beautiful. Okay, let me get my mess cleaned up. I got to keep an eye on this. I've got to unload the dishwasher, load it back up with my current mess, and then we're going to maybe take a look at that chocolate cherry jam. All right, I'll be back. Okay, this is the spicy pineapple and cherry jam. This has to cook now on the stove until it reaches the gelling point. The Ball cookbook states that it needs to be at 220, and currently we are just above 160. So that's what's going on at the stove. Over here sit my beautiful, beautiful pomegranate cherry jelly babies, and they are so beautiful. That jelly is so good, I can't hardly stand it. It's just literally divine. All right, that spicy cherry jam, that is a little bit of a beast, okay? So it doesn't have pectin in it, and I stirred it over the stove for about 45 minutes. The Ball book gave me a couple of options to check and see if I felt that it was at a gel state. One of them being, you know, bring your thermometer to 220. But after 45 minutes of my thermometer not moving past 190, yeah, you know what I said. Yes, indeed. I did look at it on a spoon. Hold on. Let me rinse one for you. And honestly, I just couldn't tell. So here it is. And there it is. So I feel like that's kind of a half-hearted gel. And you know what? I do not care. I am going to jar this. If it gels and it's like a jam, great. If it doesn't gel and it's like a syrup, baby, I can live with that. So we're going to go ahead and jar it up, and I will stick it in the water bath. I don't think I'll bring you along for that process. You guys have all seen me do that. Got my hot jars right here underneath this tea towel. I have my lids, you know, the usual, my paper towels, and my vinegar. So let me get this done, because honestly, my arm and shoulder are like, I do not care any longer. I do not care. I will come back and we'll do a taste test, okay? All right, let me get this taken care of. Okay, that is in the water bath, and I ended up having 2-pint jars and 1/4 pint jar. Like I said earlier, I'm out of 1/2-pint jars. So I have not tasted this yet. So let's go ahead and give it a taste. And actually, let's look at this. That looks gelled to me. So I am not going to lose any sleep over that. I'm going to wait until I can it and open up one of the little jars to put my notes in about this jam. But let's taste it. Super, super good. It has a little bit of spice, but the spice is on the back burner. Kind of sneaks up on you, but it is not very hot. So one thing I will want to do is if I make this again, I'm going to want to add a little more chili pepper. Now my husband just crawled in to take a nap, but I'm still going to take him a spoon and make him taste it. Because that's the kind of little I am. Okay, husband liked it. He agrees with me. There is not a lot of heat in this. And so I think we're just going to treat it like a regular jam. I might use it as a marinade for some things, but it's definitely gelled. I'm perfectly happy with its gel consistency. So I'll make some notes there. Let me taste it again. Okay, that bite did taste a little bit spicier. Nothing to be afraid of, and you can really taste the pineapple. So you can taste the cherry, the pineapple, and the heat. It's nice and sweet, and it's gelled perfectly. So I am quite pleased with myself. I'll probably come back this afternoon and make the 3rd jam, and then we'll put this all in one episode. Yeah, I love it. That's good. All right, I am going to make some notes on this bad boy. I feel like I do want to make it again. I want to do some research about pineapple, if you can use Sure Gel with pineapple, because if you can, I'm going to play with this recipe and use Sure Gel if at all possible. Now, I don't know. I may do it irregardless, but I want to do some research first. So, you know, like I said, in your kitchen, you do you. You do what, you know. I'm obviously going to say I really, really want you to follow the USDA guidelines for canning, but if you make a small, you know, deviation which you think is safe and you've done your research, it's your kitchen, your health, your safety. Same thing in my kitchen, my health, my safety. So anyway, I'm gonna have another bite. It's really good. With a bigger bite, you do get the heat. So that is really quite yummy. All right, I gotta sit down. I'm pooped, people. I'm pooped. Okay, my friends, it is now 3:45 in the afternoon, and I am going to go ahead and make the chocolate cherry jam. In the Ball cookbook, it is on page 35, and I have got the ingredients out. I'm going to try to get through this fairly quickly. So the first thing I have is, in this bowl, I have 6 cups of cherries, but I am needing to chop them. So you can see that I'm in the process of doing that right there. I also have 6 cups of sugar measured out. I have a 1/4 of a cup of bottled lemon juice. I have 6 tablespoons of Ball Classic Pectin, and I have 2/3 of a cup of cocoa, and I'm using Trader Joe's cocoa. I don't know if that matters. It says to try to use a cocoa with 22% and 24% milk fat, whatever that is. But on my packaging of cocoa, I didn't see anything that talked about that, so I have no way of knowing. And halas, it is what it is, and we're just going to make it. Yeah. So let me finish chopping the cherries and I will come back to you. I'm really looking forward to this, you guys. Okay, let me bring you down here. I now have 6 cups of cherries chopped, and to that we are going to add the first 3 ingredients, which are the cherries, the lemon, and the pectin. Now this is going to go on the stove, and we're going to bring it to a full rolling boil. And let's see. Let me read exactly what it says. Okay, just like everything else, or almost any super simple jam recipe. The cherries, the pectin, and the lemon juice are going to go on the stove, and they're going to come to a boil. While that's coming to a boil, I am going to mix my cocoa and my sugar together and get that nice and blended. And then when this has come to a full rolling boil, then I'm going to add the sugar and the cocoa. So I don't have to bring it for a minute or anything. I just need to bring this to a full rolling boil. Then I add the sugar and the cocoa, bring it back to a rolling boil, and once it's at a rolling boil, I boil it for 1 minute. So I'm going to do that, and I will get back to you. Okay. My mixture is on the stove, and it'll be a while. I'll just check it periodically. Those berries are nearly frozen. It'll take a while to come up to a rolling boil. Let's see what's going on down here. So I need to mix the sugar and the cocoa together. So I'm just going to do sort of like this. And then I will just sort of mix it up with my hands. Now I just washed my hands. My hands are clean. It's all good. Nothing scary going on there. All right, and then I'm just gonna, because it's so relaxing just to do this, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna take my hands and mix that all together. I'm also gonna break up any cocoa clumps. Smells really good, you guys. Now I imagine this will be something that I will use to put on yogurt once in a while, or ice cream if I have it. In the winter, I might put it, a little dollop of it, on oatmeal with some of the frozen cherries. I don't know what else I'll do with it. I guess it'll depend on what it tastes like and what I think I'm going to be able to do with it. Okay, so you don't need to see me play with that any longer. I'm going to go ahead and just continue to work on this and watch my cherries. All right, if you look down here, you can see that that sugar mixture is pretty well blended. Now I'm going to go ahead and keep an eye on my cherries, and I'll bring them to a boil, and then I will add this and let it come to a boil for 1 minute. Okay. That took longer than usual because I got interrupted in the middle to go and do some things that needed to be done right smack in the middle of me boiling the jam. All right. Here's the jam. Looks good, smells good. Here's my jars. Here's the funnel. I'll leave you down here. Let's go ahead and get this jarred up. It smells really yummy. It is super hot. You guys see okay? Oh, that one's a little bit full. Okay, let me go and grab another jar. Okay, my chocolate cherry jam has finished processing in the water bath canner for 10 minutes. It's sitting for 5. And while it's sitting, excuse me, my nose always itches when I'm on camera. I want to taste the chocolate cherry jam for you. So let's see what we think. Very rich, very smooth, very definite chocolate, very definite cherry. I'm thinking this will be best in very small quantities because it is so rich. And I think it will be great on ice cream, on cheesecake if you have some, on cheesecake flavored yogurt, that would be really good, and possibly even on oatmeal. You might even be able to get away with it on, my mind just went blank, pancakes, maybe. It's very rich. It does taste delicious. I really like it, and I'm glad that I made it. It was fun to make. It was very fun to make. Yeah, it's good. It's really good. So let's see. Let's go ahead and pull out our jars. I'll be back. And there they are, my friends. 3 pints of chocolate cherry jam and 2 quarter pints of chocolate cherry jam. So those are going to sit and cool on the counter. I'm going to sit down and take a little bit of a break.